Japan. It's a country so obsessed with cleanliness that almost every toilet will robotically service your body. Dog nappies adorn the shelves of stores, and all the taxis have doilies, whilst the drivers wear gloves like Michael Jackson. And get this, they even wash their hands after going number 2. Truly, life here in Japan is the pinnacle of refinement. So maybe someone can tell me what's going on with this stinky mess greeting me on my doorstep the moment I step outside. What's this?
Good morning.
And what's this? And what in God's name is this? Something weird's happening here. Let me explain how the bin system works here where I live in Kyoto. So, step 1, put your rubbish into a bin bag. You still with me? That goes out onto the street to be picked up at 8 AM, give or take. But on a street like mine, the designated bin bag zone is pretty much in the road itself. There's no dividing boundary that differentiates between stinky bag zone and merciless oncoming vehicles. And there are loads of roads like this in Japan with no pavement. Sometimes they just have a little painted line down one side, and sometimes it's just Battle Royale style free-for-all. Now keep this in mind as we discuss the crows. The crows in Japan love rifling through bin bags for treats and shinies, presumably rare Pokemon cards, and as a result they'll tear open the bags on the street and leave the contents strewn all over the road.
Good grief.
You're supposed to cover your bin bags with these blue nets, but they're not always used properly, and even if they are, I think the crows are clever enough that it doesn't always stop them. So when this happens on a road like mine, the rubbish is left in the path of oncoming vehicles, which then mash and shatter the refuse into pieces, smearing it across the road and creating what is essentially unintentional modern art. I call this piece a rhapsody in brown and grey. Anonymous. It gets everywhere all over the street, and sometimes it's not even clean up for days.
That's right. Get it nice and clean.
And so you might say, well Fred, you're a big boy, you get down there and clean it up. To which I cleverly and handsomely reply, I have no intention of beginning every single day scrabbling around on the asphalt like a golem for torn up crisp packets and instant ramen cups mashed into the ground in the form of a feculent mosaic. I see these collages, shall we say, quite regularly. And in fact the cars have even managed to annihilate several of my apartment block's resident traffic cones, i.e. the very thing that is meant to say to a car, do not drive here. Nope, don't care, we'll run that the fuck over as well. Now, this is odd because it's in complete contrast to the incredible cleanliness of Japanese streets on the whole, which is itself even more odd in contrast to the lack of public bins available in Japanese society. And this brings us to chapter 2 of this, I don't really know, is this a manifesto or a letter of complaint or a casus belli? Well, in fact, maybe this does call for a Deus Vult. Anyway, you'll find in Japan that whenever you're out and about, there's almost no bins whatsoever for you to use. Supposedly for fear of terrorist attacks. I don't know, maybe they took the name Bin Laden too literally. Part of the issue is their stringent approach towards recycling, so there's no use putting just one bin down, you need the whole set, in case somebody needs to throw away an empty can, a stick of plutonium, and a piece of the True Cross at the same time. It's sort of like Exodia the Forbidden One in that sense, you need them all. So if you're walking around outside with a piece of rubbish that you need to throw away, you're done for. I mean, it's just barren. Just give up, lie down, and let the moss reclaim you. That's your only option ever. Oh, just pop into the local convenience store and use their bin, you politely remark. I smile wryly at your appalling idiocy and lack of social skills. For what if I'm in the middle of Takaragaike on a pedalo? What if the local convenience stores have all blacklisted me for licking the sweets and putting them back? What if, say, I have konbini PTSD due to the severe price rise of umaibo by 2 yen, and can no longer look at one without being violently sick all over your shoes, which cost over 20 quid? You should have thought of that before opening your big mouth. Instead, you have no choice but to walk around with the offending item clenched in your hand like a Minecraft character. And it's not just the dustbin situation that strikes me as odd. Even though Kyoto is one of Japan's major cities, all around you'll find scenes of quiet dereliction, of people and things left behind by the world. Things that people couldn't seem to throw away, or demolish, or even sell for scrap. So almost every day I walk past this derelict house in my neighbourhood, and it's been abandoned so long that there are plants growing out of the roof. And I peeped inside, it's just been used as like a dumping ground. In fact, I found an old frying pan in there. And over the road there's a mystery stockpile of umbrellas, kind of shoved in between two houses. In fact, loads of convenience stores have the same thing, just bizarrely large collections of umbrellas that have been left behind by forgetful customers, I suppose, and then stuffed into whatever crevice will accommodate them. And these aren't exactly uncommon sights.
Ah, beautiful Japanese snow. I wonder if anyone left a sex toy on the ground. Oh, yeah. They did.
And here's another example I recently encountered. If you look closely, you can see the faint outline of a van amidst the foliage. Is anyone else getting sad Thomas the Tank Engine vibes off this? I mean, the weirdest part is somebody stashed a load of old leaves inside the van. And there's no sunroof, so they didn't just fall in there. Someone put those in there. So, I mean, if you can explain this phenomenon, yeah, please write in for a chance to win a chance at self-fulfillment. Thank you. Scenes like this kind of remind me in a way of rural Ireland, where I visited family a few times. You see these empty buildings and remnants of a life people left behind, just slowly succumbing to the moss or peeling apart with decades of rust like rain-washed ghosts. Now let me be clear, Japan is about 1 million times cleaner than my hometown overall, which is London. I mean, they don't call him Dirty Father Thames for nothing, am I right? I mean, look at this. So dirty even the turtles have died? Huh. Yeah, I mean, I guess that would explain why I've never seen turtles in there. And Japan is doing a hell of a lot better than Paris, where it turns out that the movie Ratatouille was basically a documentary. So whilst there are aspects of Japan that could use improvement, let me be clear that it's on the whole very clean. I mean, I'm not saying they're going full Bruegels, okay? Because you never go full Bruegels. I mean, look at this. Littering. And then there's this guy just riding around in a go-kart. It's the end of the world and you're go-karting. Get a grip. And I know for a fact that Japan's turtles are still alive. I mean, I saw this one the other day. It's called a supon, a Chinese soft-shell turtle. And no joke, I recently saw a woman just picking leaves off the path along the public riverbank. Literally just picking up leaves. There's a thread running through this culture that demands manicured surroundings. I mean, all you need to do is visit a traditional Japanese garden to see that. So after all that, you'd think there'd be some way to avoid this dirty little scandal that crops up week in, week out. Now, I'm not offering a solution to these problems because thinking about things is for nerds, but if anyone from the United Nations or, I don't know, the Houses of Parliament is watching, I would like to call for an end to the ceaseless violence against traffic cones, the dearth of public bins, and the smearing of pongy refuse all around my front door. Enough is enough. Thank you.
The roof fell down.
So that's a wrap. So as a reward for tuning in, here's a sneak preview of a Japanese Tom Hanks fan book from one of my upcoming videos. Should be a good one. And if you have any suggestions or requests for topics, please comment down below or contact me via smoke signal. Thank you, good night.